So hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today in this video, I have brought you a sample questions of mock test that my friends had given. I will not say many questions were asked from this mock test, but yes, few questions were there in exam which was asked from this sample paper too. So let's see all the questions one by one. And here, starting with the first questions, here we have, what is Kirchhoff's voltage law? So here we have the options. The total current entering a node is equal to the total current leaving the node. So this is the Kirchhoff's current law. This is KCL. And the voltage across a resistor is proportional to the current flowing through it. And here the sum of voltage in a closed loop is 0. So here the option C is correct. The sum of voltage in a closed loop is 0. So Kirchhoff's voltage law states that the sum of voltage in a closed loop is 0. So option C is the correct one. And what is a star delta conversion? So here a conversion of three-phase motor from star to delta configurations. So option A is correct here. So here is the explanation as well. A star delta conversion is a conversion of three-phase motor from star to delta configurations. And what is the interrelation between parameters of two-port network? So the interrelation between parameters of two-port network is that the short circuit admittance parameters and the open circuit impedance parameters are inversely related. So the short circuit admittance parameters and open circuit impedance parameters are inversely related, and the transmission parameter and hybrid parameters are also inversely related. So the option A is correct here. And what are positive real functions? Here the positive real function is the function that have positive real part for all the frequencies. So this is question from the network theory. So here is the explanations of positive real functions are functions that have positive real part for all the frequencies. So here option A is correct here. And what is an active circuit? A circuit that contains energy sources such as battery or generators. Yes, the sources that contains like batteries or generators is an active circuit. Now what is parallel circuit? A circuit in which components are connected in parallel. So yes, these are the simple questions. Now what are the basic type of amplifiers? So we have the option voltage amplifier and current amplifier, power amplifier and audio amplifier, transistor amplifier and tube amplifier, class A, class B, class AB amplifier. So here many students choose option D, but the correct option is here option A. Voltage amplifier and current amplifiers are the basic type of amplifier here. Now what is frequency to voltage converters? Here we have the option a circuit that converts a voltage signal to frequency signals. In option 2, a circuit that converts a frequency signal to a voltage signals. In option C, a circuit that amplifies a voltage signals. In option D, a circuit that amplifies a frequency signals. So here the correct option is option B, a circuit that converts a frequency signal to a voltage signals. Now what is the function of op-amp clipping circuit? So its function is it limits the output voltage to a certain value. Here the correct option is A here. Now what is a logarithmic multiplier? So here a logarithmic multiplier is a device that multiplies two logarithmic signals. So here the correct option is A. Now which logic family is most commonly used in high-speed appliances such as networking equipment and memory devices? ECL. So this question was asked. So here the correct option is ECL, means emitter coupled logic here. Now what is positive feedback in oscillators? So positive feedback is the process of adding a portion of the output signals to the input signals. So here the correct option is A here. Now which of the following is not a CISC instructions? Here we have the option load, store, push and add. So here which of the following is not a CISC instruction set? So here push is not a CISC instruction set. Now which of the following register in a microprocessor stores the memory address of the next instructions to be executed? We have the instruction registers, stack pointer, program counter, and memory data registers. So the correct option is here program counter. Now what is the function of control unit in CPU? So here the correct option is it manages and coordinates the flow of data between CPU and other devices. Now what is pipelining in CPU? So pipelining means a technique to execute multiple instructions simultaneously. So option A is correct here. Now which of the following instruction in assembly language is used to transfer control to different part of the programs? So here the correct option is JMP jump. So this is the question from microprocessor. So you can read the instruction cycles, instruction code of 8085 as well. Now what is the purpose of micro instructions? So the purpose of micro instruction is to control the sequencing of operation in the CPU. Here the correct option is D here. Now which of the following is an example of if statement with multiple conditions in programming? So here we can see here x greater than 5 and y less than 10. So here this is the example of if statement with multiple conditions. So option C is the correct answer here. Now what is the difference between a while loop and a do while loop? So these are the questions from C programming. So here a do while loop always executes at least once. So the correct option is B here. And what is void functions? So here a void function does not return a value. The correct option is option B here. Now what is a destructor? So destructor is a family functions of a class that is automatically called when an object is destroyed. So here the correct option is A here. Now which function is used to read an integer input from the user in a C programming? So yes, scanf is used to read an integer input from the user in C programming. Now what is recursive functions? As you all know, the recursive function is function that calls itself. So recursive function is a function that calls itself. So here option A is correct here. Now what are the factors of a transfer functions that are plotted in a Bode plot? So the factors of a transfer function that are plotted in a Bode plot is the magnitude and phase. Now what is root locus? So a root locus is a graphical representation of the locations of roots of the characteristic equations as parameter is varied here. Now question number 27, what is the purpose of first order system to a step unit? What is the response of first order system to a step input? So it rises exponentially and settled at a steady state value. And what is the response of the, here you have first order. So for first order it rises exponentially and settles at a steady state value, whereas for second order it rises exponentially and oscillates for a few seconds and then it comes to a steady state. So for first order it rises exponentially and settles at a steady state, whereas in second order it rises exponentially and then oscillates for a few seconds and then settles at a steady state. So you can note that. What is the response of second order system to a step input? It rises exponentially and oscillates before settling at a steady state. Yes, it rises exponentially and oscillates before settling at a steady state value. Now which bridge circuit is used for measuring the resistance and reactance of the circuit simultaneously? So Maxwell bridge is used to measure the resistance and reactance of the circuit simultaneously. Now what are the essential requirements of an instrument? So here the essential requirement of instrument is deflection systems, controlling systems and damping systems. And what are the types of constructions of induction motors? So squirrel cage and wound motors are the constructions of induction motors, are the types of constructions of induction motors. So option A is correct here. Now what is commutation in DC generators? So it is the process by which the commutator segments switch the current from one coil to the next. Now what is the method used for starting a synchronous motor? So here the method used for starting a synchronous motor is soft starting. Now what is the construction of DC motors? A DC motor consists of a stationary magnetic field and a rotating armature. So this is the constructions of DC motors. Now what is voltage regulation in transformers? So voltage regulation is the difference between the no load voltage and the full load voltage expressed as a portion of the full load voltage. So option A is correct here, sir. So this question is from the electrical machine from transformer chapter. And what is the advantage of using a permanent magnet synchronous generator? So it does not require a separate DC power source for excitation. So here permanent magnet synchronous generator does not require a separate DC power source for excitation. And here it does not require a separate DC power source for excitations, and a permanent magnet synchronous generator uses a permanent magnet to provide the necessary magnetic field for voltage producing and illuminating. Now what is the difference between aperiodic and periodic signals? Aperiodic signals do not repeat themselves while periodic signals do. Means aperiodic signals do not repeat themselves whereas periodic signals repeats themselves. Now what is DTFS? Means discrete time Fourier series. So a discrete time Fourier series is a representation of periodic signals in the frequency domain for discrete time signals. Now what is Butterworth filters? So this is an important question. This may be asked in the exams. A Butterworth filter that has a maximally flat pass band. So just remember this, that Butterworth filter is a filter that has maximally flat pass band. Now what is a spectrum sensing? So a spectrum sensing is a process of detecting the frequency content of a signal. Now what is the forward DTFT? So forward DTFT is a transformation from time domain to the frequency domain for discrete time signals. So option C is correct here. What is Laplace transform of unit impulse signals? Here the Laplace transform unit impulse signal is 1 here. Here option C is incorrect. Option A is correct here. So for unit signals it is 1 by S, but for unit impulse signals the option A is correct here. So option A is correct here. What is pulse code modulation PCM and what is the relationship with quantization? PCM is a technique where the amplitude of series of pulses is varied to represent analog signals, and it involves the quantization to convert the analog signals to digital signals. So option A is correct here. Now what is wavelength division multiplexing and how does it work? So yes, you may be also be asked to write the full form of WDM. So here the full form of WDM is wavelength division multiplexing, and yes, this question was asked to write the full form and how does it work. So a WDM is a multiplexing technique that divides the frequency bandwidth of a communication channels into a multiple subbands, each of which can carry a separate signals. Now what is the purpose of parity codings? So here to detect errors in a data transmission. This question was also asked in the exams. So purpose of parity coding is to detect error in a data transmission. Whereas Hamming code is used to correct the errors, and here parity coding is used only to detect the errors, and Hamming code is used to correct the errors. Now what is bandwidth utilization and what is relationship with multiplexing? So bandwidth utilization is the amount of data that can be transmitted over communication channels, and multiplexing is a technique used to increase the bandwidth utilization. So here option B is correct here, sir. Which demodulation technique is most commonly used for EMs? So envelope detection is the most commonly used demodulation techniques used for amplitude modulation. Now in QPSK, modulations, how many bits are transmitted per signals. So in QPSK 2 bits are transmitted per signals. Now what is fault analysis in power systems? So fault analysis is the analysis of impact of fault or disturbance on the power systems. And here is the explanation. Fault analysis in power system is the process of determining the effect of fault or disturbance on the power systems such as short circuit, ground fault or equipment failure. Now what is relay? So here a device used to protect electrical equipment from damage is a relay. So a relay is an electrical device that is designed to detect fault in a power systems and initiate a corrective action to protect electrical equipment from damage. So here option C is correct. Now what is an electrical layout drawing? So electrical layout drawing, a drawing that shows the electrical wiring and connections in a building. Now what is MCB? MCB means miniature circuit breaker. So here a device used to interrupt the current flow in a circuit is a MCB. Now which of the following is not a type of conductor material used in overhead lines? So here copper, aluminum, steel and carbon fiber. So here carbon fiber is not a type of conductor used in overhead lines. Now which type of power storage systems uses rotational energy to store electrical energy? So here flywheel storage system is the correct option here. And which of the following project scheduling techniques used as a bar chart to depict project tasks and their duration? So yes, Gantt chart is used here. So here CPM, here CPM means critical path method, and POT, the full form POT is program evolutions and review technique. So here is a few explanation for Gantt chart. So a Gantt chart is a type of project scheduling techniques that uses a bar chart to depict project tasks and their durations. And the chart displays project tasks on the horizontal axis and the project timelines on the vertical axis. And each task is represented by a horizontal bar that indicates its durations and start and end dates. Now, what is the purpose of contract management? So here managing the executions of contract to ensure compliance with terms and conditions. So here option 2 is correct here. So here a contract management involves managing the executions of a contract to ensure compliance with terms and conditions, and this may include monitoring performance, tracking deliverables, managing changes and resolving disputes. An effective contract management is critical to ensuring the project is completed on time, within budget and to require quality standards. Now what is the role of professional ethics in engineering? So here option A is correct, to ensure the engineers act with integrity and maintain public trust. So here professional ethics are a set of moral principles and values that guide the behavior of professionals in engineering. Professional ethics are important to ensure the engineers act with integrity and maintain public trust. And this includes maintaining the confidentiality of sensitive information, avoiding conflict of interest, and ensuring that engineering projects are safe, sustainable, and have a positive impact on the society. Now, what is project tenders? So, a project tender is a document that describes the project requirements and invites bids from potential suppliers. So, option A is correct here. So, here a project tender is a document that describes the project requirements and invites bids from potential suppliers. And the tender may include information on the project scope, timeline, budget, and evaluations criteria. Suppliers are typically required to submit a proposal that outlines their approach to meeting the project requirements and their proposed pricing. So here option A is correct here, a project that describes the project requirements and invites bids from the potential suppliers. Now this question is from the engineering drawings. What is the scale in technical drawings? So it is the ratio of size of the drawing to the size of object being drawn. So option A is correct here. Now what is regulatory environment in engineering? So this is the set of laws and regulations that govern the engineering activities. Here Option A is correct here. Now question number 61. So question number from 61 to 80, these all are up to marks. So here, what is the voltage across a 20 ohm resistors when a current of 5 ampere flows through it? So we know voltage V is equals to IR. So 20 into 5, 100. So here the correct option is 100 volt here. Here option B is incorrect. Correct option is 100 volt. Now which of the following is the correct equation for calculating the power distributed by resistors? Here P is equals to I square R, P is equals to V square upon R, P is equals to I into V, and P is equals to R upon R. Here we can see P is equals to I square R, P is equals to V square upon R, and P is equals to Vi. These all are correct, but most appropriate you can choose option B here. P is equals to V square upon R. Which of the following is a type of single phase induction motors? So this is the series pole motors. And here a series pole motor is a type of single phase induction motor that uses a small auxiliary windings called a seeding coil to create a rotating magnetic field, and this motor is usually used in low power appliances such as fan and small appliances. Now which of the following is a type of AC motor that uses a rotor with permanent magnets? So here the type of AC motor that uses a rotor with permanent magnet is brushless DC motors. So here BLDC motor. Here BLDC is an AC motor that uses a rotor with permanent magnets instead of an electromagnet, and the stator contains multiple coils that are energized in a sequence to create a rotating magnetic field that drives the rotors. And BLDC motors are more efficient and reliable than brushed DC motors, but they are also more complex and expensive. Now, which of the following is a disadvantage of using a coal as fuel in a thermal power plant? So here it produces large amount of greenhouse gases and other pollutants. So this is the disadvantage of using coal as a fuel in thermal power plant. And here is the explanations. Well, coal is abundant and relatively inexpensive. It is also a major source of greenhouse gas emissions and other air pollutants such as sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxide, and particulate matters. And these emissions can have serious health and environment impacts, and many countries are working to reduce their reliance on coal-fired power plant. Now, which of the following types of power plant is most commonly used for base load electricity? So for base load electricity, normally coal-fired is used here. Now, what is the purpose of shading ring in a series pole motors? So, its purpose is to provide a uniform magnetic field. Here you can see the explanation part as well. What is the purpose of solar inverter in a solar power generation systems? So here the purpose of solar inverter in a solar power generation is to convert DC power to AC power. Option A is correct here. And these are the explanation for solar panels. Now here, what is the purpose of black start unit in a power systems? Here the main purpose is to start up the power station in the event of total blackout. So here you can see the option to provide backup power during a blackout, to provide power to critical load during a power outage, and to provide up the power station in the event of total blackout, and to reduce the risk of blackout by blacking the power load. So here the correct option is C here. As you can see in the explanation part, a black start unit is a backup power source that is designed to start up a power stations in the event of total blackout. When a power station experiences a total blackout, that generates that produce power are shut down and the entire system loses power. The black start unit provides the necessary power to start up the generators and restore power to the stations. The black start unit typically consists of a diesel generators or a gas turbines that is capable of producing enough power to start the station generators. So option A is incorrect because black start unit is not designed to provide backup power during a blackout but rather to start up the power station. So option B is, and here option B is also incorrect because a black start unit is not designed to provide power to critical load but rather to start up the power station. So option D is Incorrect. Here option D is also incorrect because a black start unit is not designed to reduce the risk of blackout, but rather to start up the power station in the event of blackout. So here the option C is correct. Now, what is the purpose of rectifier in a power electronic systems? So the purpose of rectifier is to convert AC power to DC powers. Now, what is the purpose of a PID controller in a control systems? So here the purpose of PID controller is to maintain a desired process variables. So here in PID controller means proportional integral derivative controller is a type of feedback controller control systems that is used to maintain a desired process variables. And the PID controller receives input from sensors that makes the process variables and then calculates an error value based on the difference between the desired value and the measured value. And the PID controller then adjusts the output of control system to reduce the errors and maintain the desired process variables. So here option A is incorrect because regulating the power output of a power electronic system is the job of power controllers, not a PID controllers. And option B is incorrect because controlling the speed of motor is the job of motor controller, not a PID controller. And option D is incorrect because preventing overloading the power supply is the job of protection circuit, not a PID controllers. So here option C is correct here. Now, what is the purpose of circuit breaker in a power system? So here the main purpose of circuit breaker is to disconnect a faulty or overloaded circuit from the power supply. So here, so for further explanation, you can study this part for circuit breakers. Now, what is the purpose of surge arrestor in a power system protections? So here the purpose of surge arrestor is to protect a power system from lightning strikes and other transient overvoltage. So option A is correct here. And here is the explanation for surge arrestors. So you can also read this part. Now, what kVA rating is required for a transformer that must handle a maximum load of 8 ampere with a secondary voltage of 2 kilovolt? So here directly we can multiply 8 into 2, so 8 is 16 kVA. And here in 0.025 watt there are 25 kilowatt, 0.00025 milliwatt, 2500 microwatt and 25 milliwatt. So in 0.025 watt, here option D is correct here. So here when an 15 volt input pulse with equals to 2 time constant is applied to RC integrators, the capacitor charges too. And here in first time constant, here 15 into 63.2 percentage upon 100 we get here 9.48. So in RC integrators, so you have to multiply for first time constant, we have to multiply with 63.2 percentage. So you'll get the first time constant as 9.48 and the remaining time constant is the difference between this 15 volt and minus 9.48 means 5.52. So 5.52 into again 63.2 upon 100 will get here 3.42. Now the first time constant plus the next time constant. So if you add this 3.48 and this 9.48 will get 12.96. So here the correct option is 12.9. And in a CCIRB system, the time between a start of one SYN pulse and the next is, so just remember this, 64 microsecond. Now in an AC circuit, the fundamental component of current wave lags the corresponding voltage wave by 20 degree, and the third harmonic component of current wave lags the corresponding voltage by an angle of, so it will lag by more than 20 degree here. The correct option is option B here. Now which of the following is an example of plagiarism in engineering? So plagiarism means copying and pasting text from the source without attributions. paraphrasing text from the source without attributions, using ideas or data from the source without attributions. So here all are the correct here. So all of the above. Now, what is the compositions of Nepal Engineering Councils? So, Nepal Engineering Council is the composition of engineers, engineering educators, and representative from the government. So, this was all for today. Hope you enjoyed the lectures. Thanks for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you.